Well, how do you do, Buckaroos? Cheers and Merry Christmas. I know we're not quite there yet, but we're in the ballpark. Like this one? I used this backdrop last year. No, I'm not really in this cabin, although I wish I was. I really love the looks of it, man. You think angle me just a little bit there. I should have figured out a way to that blind spot right there. That blind spot right there. But I got the nice wreath right there. Let me get my bottle positioned a little closer to me. Oh, cheers, man. So I found this today. The first time I've had it this year. I've had it several times, but first time this year. So I'm going to read a touch from their website. New Holland Dragon's Milk beer style is bourbon barrel aged stout. Alcohol is 11%, 31 IBUs. Two row, the grains are two row, Munich, caramel, crystal, black chocolate, malt, and flake barley. The hops are Glacier and Nugget. The yeast is an American ale yeast. So there you go. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to go into my whole Bourbon County Stout spiel. Other than to say, I mean, I've always said I wouldn't stand in line for it. You know, it ran. I actually did find a bottle. I didn't stand in line for it. I went on my work route, and I found a bottle for $11.99. So I did pick it up, although I haven't drank it yet. But most stores had it between 15 and 18 bucks. Here I found this for 15 bucks for a 4-pack. No, yes, that beer is 14% and change. This one's 11%. But if we're talking about a quality, imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels. I mean, are you really going to quibble over, 3%? A good beer is a good beer. This was only 15 for the 4-pack, as opposed to 15 for 16 ounces. So there you go. I've had this before, like I said, it's the first time this year, so I thought I'd share with you. It's starting to get a little chilly out there, so I thought it was a good time to have one. Oh, the nose is nice. Actually, I have this a little colder than I want, so I'm going to let it wait just a little bit, see if that says anything else to me that I need to know. 11%, rich, roasty, and creamy, with heavy notes of, I wish I had just did the video before I read that. Darn it. Heavy notes of vanilla. Yeah, you do taste a lot of vanilla right away. And just enough. Actually, right there, I'll tell you in a minute, but I feel like I'm also getting a hint of anise there. Familiar warmth from oak barrels reminds us that all of life's events, big or small, are worth celebrating. Yeah, so there we go. What else does that say? Oh, it gives you some pairings, but we don't get to get into that right now. Let me just put that there. Nose. Well, you certainly feel some creamy vanilla on the nose. Also get a lot of dark chocolate on the nose. You certainly feel a nice amount of roasted barley. A lot of dark chocolate. I do feel a little alcohol there. A lot of dark chocolate, a lot of vanilla. The oak I don't feel until more towards the end, but it is there. It is very rich. It's a little sweeter than I remember last year's, but that could be just me. I found I've become more sensitive to sweet. You know what I mean? There's a lot of the sweet flavored beers, peanut butter this, coconut that. I'm finding a lot of them are just too sweet for me this year. A lot of the chocolate milk stouts I'm finding too sweet for my particular taste. But then I've had friends that think some of the stuff that I've commented on are too bitter for them, where I don't find them bitter at all. I find the nice deep chocolate and roasted barley notes, while they find, well, it's for them it's bitter, for me it's not. So yeah, I'm feeling a hint of anise in there on the flavor. Just the slightest little smidgen. Anyways, oh, it's a good beer. I mean, there's a lot of good beers out there. That's my issue with these hype beers. that you've got to stand in line for. I mean, it's not just a BCBS. I mean, it's KBS, it's a CBS. Hey, drink what you like. If you like those beers, go get them. I mean, I like the KBS, I like the CBS, but I don't know that they're worth the. Well, for me, they're not worth the price some of them are being asked for. And I'm just not going to stand in line when there are beers that I don't have to stand in line for. This is a quality imperial stout aged in bourbon barrels, quality wise. Now, you might like the flavors of those others. I'm not going to get into that argument with you. But you can't tell me those beers are of higher quality than this one. So for the price at $15 for the 4-pack, so I'm talking about 48 ounces for $15 as opposed to 16 ounces for $15. For me, there's just the value is no comparison. Of course, I'm going to buy this. I'm going to buy a 4-pack of this. Although I did admit to you that I did pick up the one bottle of the Bourbon County Stout, again, for two reasons. One, I walked into a store on my route that had 10 sitting on a counter for $11.99. I bought two, one for myself, one for the head brewer at the brewery I work at, and that was it. So for $12, I'll try it once. For 15 or 16, it ain't gonna happen. But I will pay a 15 a 4-pack for a quality bourbon barrel aged beer. This one from New Holland. It says on their website this was first brewed in 2001. It's gorgeous. I got to be honest with you though. I had this in a cooler with some other beers. I really should have. I did have it out for about 10 minutes actually before I actually started the video before I poured it. But honestly, it's a little colder than it ought to be. I probably got it at about 45. It probably ought to be really at about 55 to 60. To really give you all the aromas. So even just the few minutes I've had this going, I'm getting more aromas now. I'm getting more deep, dark chocolate notes than I was. I was feeling the anise and the flavor, but not on the nose. Now I'm getting some of the anise on the nose. Oh, that's good, man. It's real good. It's good. I hope y'all are gearing up for Christmas. I hope y'all like Christmas. I love Christmas myself. It's tough though. It's thus five. This will be our fifth Christmas without Seamus, so it's very difficult for my wife and I. But we're trying to suck it up this year. We're actually going to put up a tree for the first time since we lost Seamus. It's an artificial tree, but we are putting a tree up. We're going to decorate some, not a lot, but we are going to decorate some in our little apartment here that we moved into a few months ago. Mostly because I know that's what there's been a lot of things happen over the last year or so that we've been kind of taking a hint. I know Seamus is telling us we need to keep moving forward. And there's a difference between moving forward and moving on, I suppose. You never move on, but you have to find a way to move forward. Of course, nobody's ever had the balls to tell me to my face that I need to move on. But I can tell you, I've heard, sounding through the grapevine, I know some of my friends and relatives. Well, it's been 9 years. But nobody's got the balls to say anything to me. Oh, there we go. See, this is getting right about where I want it now. Oh, I remember when I know it's been a while. It might even be 2 years ago now. Someone made a comment. Well, you need to cut out the chit chat and the laughter and just get to the beer review. Well, I don't do beer reviews. My channel isn't called Beer Whisperer Beer Reviews. It never was. It's just Beer Whisperer. My segments I've called Drinking with the Beer Whisperer. So nowhere does it say beer review. So sorry if I keep scratching my nose. Part of it's that it keeps itching. Part of it's my Tourette's. My Tourette's has really been driving me nuts lately. Makes me do things, man. So one of the reasons I had to get out of retail and I went into business for myself. But then, when Seamus got sick, it was just too much. I couldn't do it anymore. So I am thankful for the job that I have now. I'm not I do deal with the public, but I'm a salesperson, so I go, from place to place. I follow a route, and I can usually hold it together long enough to talk to, an aspiring client or a client before I start, really twitching out. And there's been times I just had to come clean and tell people I have Tourette's because there's days you just can't hold them in. But the reason I got into that is if you're watching this video and I'm talking about the dragon's milk and I'm talking about other things, that's kind of what I do. I'm about to chit chat, I guess. I've always liked to think of my videos more as us having a pub conversation than a beer review. I used this backdrop a lot last year, and I just kind of dug it out now to put it back on. I like it. I like the looks of this little cabin. Wish I was there right now. Kind of like to just hide for a week. Ideally, if money was no object, that's probably what my wife and I would do from about New Year's Eve through New Year's, is just find a little cabin and hole up for about a week. If money wasn't an issue, I guess. If we had the cash flow and I could find me a nice little cabin that looked a lot like this, and that would be lovely. Yeah, that's what we like to do. Just kind of hide, just the two of us for a week, and then emerge. Anyways, yeah. Listen, if you can find this, it's worth it. I'm not saying it's better than the other ones. I'm not saying it's better than KBS. I'm not saying it's better than BCBS. But it's not worse. And if we're talking about just quality, flavors aside, the taste you like, the preferences, that all aside, if we're talking about just quality, this beer is every bit the quality beer that those two are. And again, $15 4-pack. Walked into my local little liquor store. It was sitting right there. Didn't have to wait in line. Didn't have to grease anybody's palms. Didn't have to blow anybody. Yeah, I could just walk in and grab it. And that's what craft beer is about, my friends. It's not about trends. It's not about a hype. It's about just getting good beer. And this is a damn fine beer. So there you go. Am I getting anything else now? Yeah, the aromas just are getting brighter and bigger. They're more of the same of what I mentioned, though. Certainly getting some oak. The oak has become more prevalent as it's warmed up. The oak really comes through more as it warms. The chocolate and the vanilla are at colder. I got more vanilla, less chocolate. Now it has warmed up. The chocolate and vanilla kind of have blended together. I'm getting a lot of that now. And again, I am feeling just kind of a hint of anise or anise on the nose, however you choose to pronounce it. Just don't pronounce it anus. I digress. Sorry to the folks in New Holland for going off the rails, but that's kind of what I do. This is a damn fine beer, though. It really is. In my opinion, it's a buy every year for me. I've been buying it every year for I don't know how long. I don't know if I go back to 2001, however long. I don't think New Holland's been available in my neck of the woods, but I'm thinking about 2007 or 2008 is when it first got to my neck of the woods. But who can remember back that far? It's all a little murky. Like a New England IPA, it's all a little murky, man. So there you go. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer. Check them out. BeerVangelist. Prolific beer drinker. I was getting something else. I was trying to decide what it was. Oh no, man. Prolific beer drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom, man. It's my first beer of the day, man. I'm a little, I had a long day, man. I got off work. It's Friday. I got off work in Arkansas, drove back to Springfield, had a doctor's appointment, had a guy had to take some labs because I hadn't done labs in 3 years, because those poor people just don't like to go to the doctor very often. And fair before our fearless leader decides to kill my health insurance, I better go. Anyway, the guy that had just taken the labs, man, he just couldn't eat. They had to take 3 vials. Got one filled, and then he said it clotted and couldn't get any more. So he tried the other arm, and he couldn't get it. So they had to send me to another guy to try to get it. He got it no problem, but then I got like 3 or 4 sticks in my arm trying to get 3 vials of blood, man. Oh, mercy. I do have rather tough veins. And no, I've never been an IV drug user. I know somebody's going to ask that question. And no, I never have been. I grew up in East Southern California in the 80s. There's not a whole lot I didn't try, but I didn't go get near any needles, man. That stuff scared the piss out of me. Now, I can't confirm or deny anything else, but I never did anything that required a needle. That I'll tell you. Oh, mercy. It was the 80s, California. Oh, this beer is awesome. I am Beer Whisperer, BeerVangelist, both beer drinker, Purveyor of Wisdom, man. All around. All around, good guy. And apparently I'm an oversharer. There you go.